Hello, and welcome to the third episode of the Melee Stats Deep Dives podcast, where we go a little bit further than we do on the normal mainline Melee Stats episodes. We try to have a little more fun with it and go into topics that we might not be able to get into with as much depth on the normal episodes. So I am Gimme That Wheat, and we got a very special episode today. It's just going to be a one-on-one conversation, and I have our guest
Oh
right
boy.
here, the Arizona commentator, the TO, Smash Camp, one third of the Save Melee committee. I've got the cheat. How you doing, Mikey?
Billionaire, playboy,
Billionaire Playboy.
etc. Hi everyone.
You're one
It's
half
me.
of was it one and a half? Was it handsome man, good looking guys? What is it?
It was one and a half hot guys
Hot
was the
guys.
title of the Mop Bob video, yeah.
Nice. 0.75
We,
apiece.
yeah, who knows, you know? The Mop Bob left the ratio a little bit ambiguous there, so you can fill in the
There-
blanks however you like.
Yeah, that's a bad equation. If you got that in school, that's a tough one.
Right. Because nobody really wants to be 0.75 of a hot guy, right?
Well, I mean, it depends. If you're thinking about one as so like SSBM rank, or sorry,
Yeah.
MPGR is coming out soon.
Right.
Hungry Box, like they do it out of 10. Hungry Box or whoever's going to be end up number one is normalized to 10. So
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
this is the situation where a hot guy is normalized to, there's the hottest ideal is normalized to 1, then 0.75 is pretty good. But
If
it,
I'm, let's say, I don't know, if I'm like Free Palestine right now, I'm ecstatic at a
oh,
0.75.
of course. Yeah, of course.
Right. But, you know, maybe my standards are a little bit, maybe it depends on what you're conditioned to believe also, I guess.
Yeah, beauty is just a construct.
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Free Palestine, he was at a tournament recently. Do you know which
Yes.
tournament that was?
That was Smash Camp, right?
That was Smash Camp, yeah. So, Mikey, I think you know a little something about Smash Camp, don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. Is this my chance to plug? I love plugging.
Well, it's a plug if it's already happened.
Well, it's gonna happen again, so I might as well,
Oh, wow. Yeah. So,
explain the features.
yeah. If you just want to give like a brief little rundown, this is the 2019 is the second iteration of it, or is this the third?
Second,
Okay,
right.
yeah. If you just want to give a brief little rundown of like the history of it, what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, Smash Camp. It takes place in Prescott, Arizona, which is about 2 hours away from Phoenix. It's a tournament for Melee and Project M, and a Baby Rivals tournament that happens on a 130-acre campground. It's called Friendly Pines Camp, which, in my opinion, is the best place in the world to have a Melee tournament. It's so fucking sick, and the camp carries me so hard. Um, Everyone gets to stay in their own cabins overnight at the tournament. Big sleepover style with bunk beds. And, we just have ourselves a good old fashioned Melee tournament.
I will say this. Speaking about I guess it's can't really call it a venue. The campgrounds.
Yeah,
I,
right.
I tried to look up some information about it before we started recording, just in case I
Oh,
needed like a
wow.
gotcha moment. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did search it's the Friendly Pines Camp murder. I was just like, just in
Oh,
case this went
Christ.
south and you started to really bug me or annoy me, I could
Okay.
kind of not even just frame you, but question your whereabouts. Maybe just
Yeah,
bring up the question of
right.
guilt in the mind of the listeners. But you know what? No information on any murders there. And I was trying to look up like any sort of cases, and I couldn't find
Sweet.
any. So
Sweet. Spotless record.
it
And
just
the
seems
thing is that I actually, the reason that I picked that camp is because I went to camp there when I was in fifth grade,
really.
with my elementary school. Yeah. So like, if they had put me, assuming this was between the years of like it wasn't between the years, I should say, of like 2005 and 2017. Like, I would have to turn that back around on Horizon, uh, Community Learning Center and say, like, what were you guys doing at that point? I'm only the proximate, vehicle through which I put the Melee community in danger. So, I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
On
there
all
doesn't
fronts.
seem to be any danger. So right now we're
Right.
pretty good.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Perfect.
I've never
Love hearing that.
not actively putting the Melee community in danger is such a high bar.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
one of the
You
best things you can
know,
say about
there's
a tournament.
I mean, Apex 27
I
or 2015,
I
you
was,
know?
I was just about to bring that up. Apex, can't say that.
Right, yeah. MVG, I don't know. You know, where's their funding coming from?
Yeah,
Who
let's
knows,
just
really?
assume that they're a no on that field.
Yeah, let's be safe, right?
Yeah. But yeah, so one thing about Smash Camp, obviously, like it just sounds like such an incredible idea, and the execution of it from everybody I've heard who's been there, like they just can't stop talking about how amazing it is. What it seems to me like the biggest parallel that I get from it is Air. Like
Mhm.
Air is a tournament that just because it's international, um, just unfortunately, like I don't think any European tournament will be as big as an American major anytime soon. So it's not
Right.
really attended incredibly well as some of the bigger tournaments of the year, but everyone who's gone there has had nothing but positive things to say about that. So I kind of feel
Oh,
that way
yeah.
about Smash Camp in a way where, it's not one of the bigger tournaments in size of how many entrants we see, but every
Right.
single person who I've heard from who's gone has had nothing but incredible things to say.
Yeah, I appreciate that sentiment, and, you know, I kinda snuck this into, what was otherwise a joke shout out thread that I made in the Arizona Melee Community Facebook page, but, like, if I could just spin some lore real quick. Smash the Target was like the first really big tournament that I went to, and I say really big. It was 120 people thereabouts. It was the largest tournament in Arizona at that time. Um, which, you know, we've blown that number out of the water a few times
Yeah.
since then. But it felt, you know, it had that sort of feeling of like, you know, this is how good our community can be when everyone comes together, and the Melee's hype, because the Melee was very hype at that tournament. So like that is kind of like the high that I've been chasing ever since I started uh, being in competitive Melee. I encourage you to go back and watch the VODs if you're listening, because it was really a hype tournament. Like Ty versus Westballs. Ty actually beat Westballs at that tournament. It was amazing. Um, but like even Smash Camp for me, like nothing I ever do is gonna hit that. But like I'm really glad that,
Oh,
you
come on,
know,
don't say
Smash
that.
Camp can. Well, you know, like it's, you know how it is. You get old and cynical after
Yeah.
a while, and like your melee soul dies a little bit every time,
I
you
mean,
know,
I,
you
I
you
was
underperform at a tournament. It's different from the mindset that you go into when you start playing, and you're like, you know what? Even if I go 0-2 here, it's going to be a great experience, and I will have learned something.
yeah, I was just trying to say that maybe this episode will be
Oh,
your
oh,
crowning achievement.
I'm keeping the door open then.
Yeah, it could be. You know what?
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember this at the we had the hardest to hear conversation ever in the world at Evo 2018
Yes,
at the after party.
at the after party. Yes, at the
Yeah.
esports arena.
There was about like I think 10 words that I was able to say to you, maybe.
Yeah.
And
It-
three of which were "Give me that cheat." So
I was thinking about that today. Yeah.
yeah, we're leaving the door open. This could be one of those things.
Yeah. You know what? Fuck Jack and fuck Jake. It's the gimme that cheat show from now on.
Yeah, we're the okay. So actually, I was gonna uh call ourselves. I was gonna call ourselves the Simon and Garfunkel, but then I realized it's kind of like
we're Garf.
we're two Garfunkels.
It's Garfunkel and Oates, right?
Yeah, yeah. If we
'Cause
wanna,
it's the crossover.
well, like right now, you would probably be like you are the
Uh
whatever was before Garfunkel, right? If you were,
huh.
because you were hanging with Ludwig. That's how I knew you two was the duo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Now history has not does not remember you like that. He's
I
moved.
guess not, huh?
No, I think he's moved on to Slime, Paul Slyman.
A little bit. Paul Slyman, exactly.
Paul Slyman.
And they've released Graceland, a deeply culturally appropriative album. Just kidding.
No, they're still
No,
on
yeah.
their what, Bridge Over Troubled Water right now.
There you go. Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, so we could be
This analogy has gone too far, I think.
yeah, this is getting next I'm gonna just start talking about my favorite Paul Simon albums.
Sure, yeah. You know what? Like the rest of the crew has clearly abandoned you and me. So like
I think people
it's
were
time to go off the
intimidated.
rails.
They
Yeah.
they heard about Give Me That Cheat. They heard about we were talking at Evo when neither of us could hear each other. So they're like, well, can't get in the middle of
Yes.
that.
Yes, exactly.
So, but yeah, so you were mentioning how Smash the Targets and that high. I don't know.
Right.
I think Smash Camp is you might be getting there.
Yeah, my point is that like I'm glad that it can be like that for some people,
Yeah,
you know? And that's I guess that's the takeaway that I get from the positive feedback.
yeah,
It's really fun to run also. Like I'm a planning fiend when it comes to this sort of stuff. And like I have to give shout outs to Nick Yingling because he's just like he's an angry god when it comes to running brackets, and it just lets me kind of sit back and oversee and just plan the shit knowing that he'll execute when the time comes. It's wild. We ran on time the first year, and we ran ahead of schedule the first year and ran on time this year.
nice,
Um
nice,
so
nice.
yeah, nobody does that. Eat your heart out, Juggle Guy.
Yeah. By the way, make any call outs you want on this episode.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'm always screaming it's time to lock the Crimson Blur up.
Well, so what? We already we talked about MVG, Crimson Blur,
Yes.
uh, Jungle Guy.
Juggle Guy's fine.
Uh,
That was mostly a joke.
I feel like
Crimson Blur thing is a hint of seriousness behind it, but you know what?
depending on we could have also slandered Ludwig depending on how he considers himself. If he considers himself 0.75 of a hot guy, slander. Yeah, we might be in some hot water.
Ludwig is 1.45, I think. We've gassed him up too
Yeah,
much.
let's not get into the math of this. But yeah, I really think that you've created something extremely cool with Smash Camp. So let's get into the specifics here. Let's do a little recap of what happened at this year's Smash Camp. Now there's some
Sure.
pretty interesting things that happened.
God, the whole bottom half of the top 32 bracket got
Yeah.
turned upside down.
So
It was wild.
I got a question for you as a TO.
Yes.
This is an event that people seem to have fun with. It's fun at.
Uh-huh.
Everybody, like I said, they seem to be having a great time. Do you feel any guilt about letting ice climbers wobble at a tournament where people are having fun?
I talked about this on Save Melee actually. No, I don't think so. Because imagine how hype it would have been given the ice climbers problem that Axe has had if he were to come back and just pull out the bird and destroy Army.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm not anti-wobbling. I don't want to come across as such. But
gotcha. No, I understand, and I really do. I really do think that somebody should ban wobbling at like a big regional tournament or something.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. It's like the NTSC thing that's happening a lot with PAL right now and in Europe.
Right.
Just to see what happens.
It just someone goes rogue and we see what happens from there.
Yeah.
But on principle, I am anti-wobbling ban.
Yeah. I think I agree with that as well.
Yeah, because I think, like, I don't know. I think I have conservative opinions about Melee in general. Like, I don't want to shake up the status quo too much because I think what we have is pretty sick.
Yeah.
And maybe that's naive of me. But about wobbling in particular, I think wobbling has the potential to create, like, really hype moments when people are able to play around it.
Yeah.
And I know that the last time Army came to Arizona, he beat everyone.
Definitely.
At Esports Arizona, he won the tournament over Axe and the Moon and Meds and Ty and Absent Page. It
was incredible.
ran right through the bracket. So like I had that in the back of my mind, and I was like, I don't, want to sacrifice this potential storyline. Shout out Save as Untitled.
Speaking of which, I actually watched that tournament at Save Us Untitled's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was with Amba
That's funny.
Sinister, Save Us Untitled. Amba Sister and I were very drunk. I got to see Ambi make a great tweet, which was like it was about Marths who call themselves who don't like they say, "Oh, I'm not an FD Marth," and it's like, well, you have a 7-3 stage. It doesn't matter if you're an FD Marth or not.
Just go there,
Yeah.
bud. Just do it.
So I got to see that. We got pizza. So I've got
Very
nothing to
nice.
great things to say about Army wobbling his way through Arizona. But
That's what's gonna happen.
Is it time to propose some sort of maybe there's an input and an output, some sort of equation about wobbling results at tournaments where people are having fun. Like maybe you poll everyone at the tournament, ask if they had fun.
Yeah.
If it's high,
Yeah,
then
you know what? It would be I'm all about the compendium gold cash grab, so like I think
yeah.
that would be a great way to do that.
Now I'm not saying the Army didn't have any good wins. Like if he beats Axe, that's a good win. But if he beats Axe at a tournament where the people are having a good time, maybe it's a good win, not a great win.
Right.
It's
it mitigates it a little bit.
It's 0.75 of an Axe win if people are having a good time. And it doesn't matter if Axe is having a good time, doesn't matter if Army's having a good time. If the general atmosphere is fun.
I think there's a similar equation where like the temperature outside and how early your match is played has an inverse effect on how good your win against Axe is. And it was snowing at Smash Camp. So if you add the fun variable into it, that counts as 0.75 of an Army win for his win over Axe, I think, to keep with the theme.
Yeah, to keep with the theme of 0.75.
Yes.
Yeah, we're big on equations here, aren't we?
Yeah, for sure. It's not just the Melee stats show, it's the Melee arithmetic show as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you do some equations on stream.
Fuck.
It's gonna be like a Umset Summit where he's able to do like.
Come on! I have a political science degree, and you can't.
All right.
Do this to me.
I'll let you slide this one time. But yeah, getting back to these results, it's some really interesting stuff. Probably some of the more interesting stuff. Obviously, Army beating X is an upset if you just look at their seeds and what they're going to end up. But we've seen Axe really struggle with Ices over the past year. I believe this is actually the first time he's taken a game off of an Ices in like a year or two or something. I know that he beat Dizkid Boogie sometime 2017 or so, but I believe he got 3-0'd by Army and Bananas when they played.
The last time I remember, and I remember this because I commentated, was that he reversed 3-0'd Army at the Big House 7.
Yeah. That was that Falco or was that like I'm trying to remember.
He lost the first 2 games with Young Link and then won the last 3 as Falco.
Okay, yeah. Because I also remember he had a close set with I forget if it was I think it was Prince Abu might have been the same tournament. Yeah. Like there's just these times when he was going through close sets and then never using Pikachu or something like that. Because remember this Abu set was like Young Link or something.
Clencher.
But obviously really good for Army to win, but maybe not a surprise. But the real surprises came a lot earlier for me. Particularly Birdman, formerly known as Diplomatic Toucan, over Squid. That's nuts. I can't get over that.
Right. I'm not really sure like what Falco experience Diplomatic Toucan has. I'm not sure like who his practice partners really are.
So he has wins on Rocky, but I believe he's negative on him. I don't know. I know that he
that would make sense.
I believe he listens to us, so I'm sure I'm gonna hear about this. But he's got Rocky in the region. He's got Ralph in the region. But Squid is just Squid is I believe 3-0 with Bananas since 2018.
Wow.
Like it's just or 2-0 or 3-0. It's just he's able to shut down Bananas particularly well. and to see this unranked, not top 100 ICs, ranked in NorCal, uh, like beat Squid. That's crazy to me. And then who does Diplomatic Toucan play the next round but Free Palestine? Why is that?
Yep.
It's because Free
Yep.
Palestine beat Westballs.
Of course. Of course he did. And you know what? Me and Millie were talking before the set, and he was like, "Hey, man, is there any way I could get this on the stream?" And we already had 2 stream matches lined up for that round, so I curved his ass and I told him to play on the side stream. And I want to make a public apology for not believing enough in my boy. And we put Army Silly Kyle on stream instead,
Oh,
and you know,
yeah.
a little bit of a painful watch, but it would have been hype if the Arizona boy had pulled it out there.
Yeah, it's easy to say now what you should have done, but
Right. Yeah, but you know, the side stream VODs are still not uploaded. Also, I need to get on Top Shelf about that. Which, so yeah,
add to the
you'll be
call
able
list.
to see that soon.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, I'm sorry, Millie. That it was very hype. I was watching it.
Yeah, and he had a little bit of a good run in losers. Him set versus Zio was really crazy.
Yeah,
I don't know if
that's
you got to catch that one, right?
I didn't watch it actually. I like stepped out.
Yeah,
I didn't watch the set.
So I'm a big Zio fan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he got a nice win over Spark earlier in the tournament.
Yeah. I feel like he's beaten Spark before. He's had some good wins. He's beaten he 3-0'd Ty at the Big House, I want to say. Big House 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, that's a tough one.
You know.
Yeah, go on.
Tough matchup. Whatever.
Sure. Yeah, sure. Yeah, Zio, just like the first time I met him in a hotel room at Shine 2016, 17, Shine 2017,
Mm-hmm.
and his face lit up because he was like, "Hi, I'm Zio." I was like, "Yeah, I know who you are. You won We Live in 4." He's just like, "What? You know that?" And ever since then, it's just that genuine joy.
Yeah.
Also,
you're deep in the shit. He appreciates it.
Yeah. He paid for my dinner when I saw him in Santa Monica. I'm not gonna say I can't be bought, of course, but it helps.
Why not? You know.
Yeah,
that
you're
would
right.
Make me root for someone.
I should really become the I don't want to become Melee's biggest sellout because I think there's way bigger sellouts, but I'll just become the guy in Melee who can be sold out incredibly easily.
There you go. Yeah.
Like
Melee's easiest sellout.
Melee's easiest sellout. Yeah, not biggest, but easiest for sure.
There you go.
So yeah, I was obviously rooting for Zio, and it's just like there's this crazy way that he plays. I don't know if it's just this match or if it's just how he plays, but you would think like watching someone like S2J, which I think their styles are like somewhat similar. You see S2J just like mercifully combo these people. But you see like Zio do these really weird things where he gets the same damage output on a lot of the combos, but instead of just like needing a miss tech or something, he'll wait a second and then he'll just like read their option or just like he'll combo someone, they'll be out of hit stun, they'll like instinctively shield and he'll grab. Like it's all these weird things where it's like this shouldn't keep working, but it is.
Yeah, maybe that's why he's not advancing. Not, well, he is advancing clearly, but maybe that's not why he's not like a super top Falcon. He's not ready for like the next option. That beats that one.
I don't really know if I can like analyze his play too much to say.
Yeah,
he's definitely one of those players who I think he's like just below being on the MPGR ballot in my mind, like a top 100 ballot. I feel like every year he's like in the top 200 of players.
Yeah, absolutely.
And when you get to those people, it's just like a toss up of who you get to play in bracket and stuff like that. Like I think it's really tough to say. It's all based on like how much stuff you go to. But yeah, really great player. And he played another person who's in that similar range right there of Free Palestine.
Yep.
And it was sick.
Yeah, that's kind of the tournament that Smash Camp was, right? It's not like super top heavy, but like
Yeah.
Lots of SoCal PR, lots of like depth in terms of people who could, potentially make some noise.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
Most of those people happen to not be from Arizona, which, you know, the top 32 after the first round was pretty thin on Arizona talent,
Yeah.
and that kind of reflects, like there's kind of a thing that's happening now where people get PR in Arizona and they run into the wall that is Ty, and like nobody's really jumped over him since Meds.
Yeah.
Um, and he did that like 3 years ago. So it's become kind of stagnant. People get PR'd, they run into the tie level, and they just kind of quit because they're not advancing.
Oh no.
Yeah, it leads to things happening like John Wick. He has this meteoric rise and he starts beating
Yeah.
top 100 players, and he's like inactive the next period. He's a 16-year-old and he's supposed to be like one of our rising stars, and he's inactive.
Yeah, I remember we really looked into putting John Wick on the top 100 ballot, but he's been to like Evo, Run Back, maybe Genesis, I think, and then just like we
Yeah.
could barely find information on anything other than that.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, and Tucson is a little bit barren, so like it's hard for him to travel, especially being so young.
yeah,
So like maybe when he has the means to, we'll see him travel more. It's just funny that like all of our up and coming players just kind of peter out after a while.
yeah. John Wick, in my mind, is one of those like next year players. I had a group of people who I was trying to see if they were going to be good enough to make it on a top 100 ballot, who I wasn't able to really like co-sign hard enough. And
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
John Wick was. They were just a bunch of next years. Him, I don't know. Do you know Franz, the Dr. Mario player?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he's on there. I think he's also a very similar age, like 17 maybe or so.
I think he's even younger. I think he's in middle school still. I remember seeing a comment from him a while ago
That,
saying he was in middle
that
school.
is nuts. I'm afraid of these people.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you've listened to the podcast enough to catch on the running theme that sometimes I bring up, which is I'm a huge fan of Zamu.
I'm not familiar with the gag, but
No, I
I
called it super early. I think one
nice.
of our like third episode, I saw that he beat Iori and Shinobi,
Oh
which is,
wow.
and I was like, this kid's gonna be good. And then all of a sudden, like,
You were prescient. Yeah, Wheat Stradamus there, huh?
yeah, right. And then I just realized I had to really lean into this.
Yeah.
So,
So you got to find the next one, right? That's the
oh
point.
no. Well, you know what? I said Bob-omb from MDV was going to be really good, and guess what? He retired.
Oh no.
But
Okay.
he beat Chu after I said he was really good.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was the moment where we all kind of were like, man, Chu that's just bad, I guess.
Yeah, right.
He was the one that really made us question it all.
Oh man. Yeah, these young kids, I'm telling you, I went to Shine, right? And
Yeah.
Elliot was there. You know Elliot, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. He walked up to me and he said, "Have you seen the cheat?" So
Yeah. He was fiending for that money match, and let me
yeah,
tell you, he got it and he like double three stocked me.
I bet. Yeah,
I
it's.
was I was humiliated. And you know what happened later that night?
I don't
I
even want to know. Go.
I walked him back to his hotel room because he was scared to walk the 3 blocks at night. I did this. It was emasculating, dude. I'm telling you. He ruined my whole trip.
Yeah, that's a real power play right there. It's just like whoop
Yeah.
someone and then like, can you walk me back?
Yes. This kid is literally like a third of my weight, and he just yosses me around with the bird for 10 minutes and then says, "Yeah, I need help. I need to be walked back to my hotel room."
That's one of the things I love about the top 100, though. Like the fact that we have a top 100 is that you can really see
Yeah.
like the rise of these players, and I think something that's really interesting about Melee is that we don't really see an end game for like Melee as a whole, as
Yeah.
opposed to if you're in a different game, like if you play Street Fighter 5, the end game is Street Fighter 6, right?
Right, right.
But like Melee, I don't know. I feel like a lot of players are just like, yeah, this is just what I'm gonna play, and it's really cool to see. Well, okay, this player didn't make it. This is what I was talking about with France and John Wick. That if they
Yeah.
didn't make it this year, who knows? They're these young people. By the time they get good, they that we could see a whole new
Hmm.
Melee. We could see the top 100, top 50. Who
Yeah.
knows? It's just like really interesting that we don't know what the future holds, and that these young people
Yeah.
are, they're obviously the future.
That's a good point. Yeah, it's cool that you don't have to get like left behind, you know?
Yeah,
If your main happens to suck in the next game or something like that.
yeah, and I mean even going back to uh, Diplomatic Dukan, who we were talking about earlier. He's also, I believe, still in high school. Like
I think so. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
that's nuts.
Yep. These boys. It's like it's wild that a lot of them are younger than the game is, you know?
Yeah, I wonder. This would be. I have to talk to probably Aiden about this. Aiden from Endgame TV
Yeah.
about
Uh-huh.
making a crew battle where it's like 5v5, under 20 and over 30. Could you imagine?
It's yeah,
Got
it's
like
like Hugs, Ken,
Chudat,
God, who else? Who's the top over 30 boys?
Chudat definitely.
Oh yeah, for
I
sure.
feel like this is the time where we start losing fans because we're like naming people who are like 28 or something. They're like, what? I'm not,
Yeah,
I'm not that old.
maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll hold my tongue before I offend there.
yeah,
Yeah.
that would definitely be an interesting one. Um, but let's just wrap up with the bracket if we can. I just want to go over a couple more things
Oh
that I found
yeah.
really cool. I'm definitely having fun talking, of course, but I just let's finish this up and then we'll be able to go a little more free form.
Yes.
Uh, Captain Face Roll, third place.
Yes.
He beat
Mr.
Axe.
Faceman.
That's the craziest thing about him beating Axe in my mind is that I was not surprised by it. Like
Well, yeah.
I was,
I mean,
yeah,
like Sheik Pikachu is one of those matchups where like I'm
yeah,
ass awful for Pikachu, right? But then you like it's got to be something about Mewtwo King, right? Where
yeah.
Axe is just
It's
he makes him seem human.
it is weird at that point. I believe that Swedish just like regularly bops Axe every time they play, and then we see.
Oh yeah, and
Mewtwo King.
Axe just does not beat Plup. Also,
Yeah, you're right.
you know.
But
So
it's not even like it is a matchup thing, of course. Like with Captain Face Roll, but it's just I think that really speaks for how Face Roll's been performing as a player. Where like 2 years ago or a year ago, I think if you beat Axe, I think that'd be a really big deal. And right
oh
now,
yeah,
like I'm like, yeah, of course you did, of course.
right. Yeah, it wasn't entirely surprising.
No, and I
Um,
think that's he's definitely one of those players to look out for. Could be top 25, in the coming year or so, 6 months, who knows? He's just a really
yeah.
strong player who I think he had like his thing. He was the poster child for the thing of like I beat all these players, and then you don't actually say your records versus them.
Yeah, right. Because in SoCal,
Oh
like
yeah,
that gets amped up times a million.
yeah, definitely. I beat Lucky. Well, I won in 20 with Lucky or whatever. Like, yeah, you
Right.
get stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I think like he went through this like weird perception where people really hyped him up when he first came out. When he first got on top 100, people really
Yeah.
hyped him
Yeah.
up, and then people like now that they were looking for him and were expecting big things, they kind of saw him for what he was, which was still a really good player, but maybe just not at that level yet. And
Yep.
then they kind of like the hype died down. But I feel like right now we've been seeing a lot of good stuff from him. Close sets with none. He's got good local records with people like S2J and Lucky. Um, yeah, I just think we're seeing a lot out of him, and I think that's great. I think he's one of the nicer guys I've ever met in Melee.
Yeah. He told me he had a dream about me when he
Oh,
came to the tournament. And it very, very simply, we were driving in a car together, and I was like, you know what? I don't think that Falco Luigi is that bad for Luigi. which is something I would never say.
Yeah, it's a dream when you say that.
Right. Yeah, that's the kick. That's what wakes him up,
Yeah.
right? Wait a minute.
It's a dream, or he's talking to like Master. I feel like that's a Master opinion.
Oh yeah.
I think when you beat
Yes.
Rocky, like if you're 3-0 with Rocky on the year, I don't think you can say actually it's really bad. Like I think you just got to accept it.
Yeah. I'm not going to do it though.
Yeah.
I'm still salty.
Of course. Never. Yeah, so we got a really interesting bracket here, but I think we picked up on a lot of the bigger things. One thing I want to ask is Homemade Waffles, was he going secondaries?
I think he might have been, because he lost to Floats, right?
Floats and Rio Beat, which Rio Beat's not that bad of a loss.
Yeah. Rio Beat's pretty good.
Around the same skill level.
Yeah, absolutely. He's like top 120, right?
Yeah, he was kind of having some like results that I don't think he wanted to have, obviously. Right?
Yeah.
Anything but first, I guess you don't want to have.
Right.
But at the end of 2017, we were kind of seeing him as a rising player. Like he was one of those people like maybe they make top 100, maybe they're left off like just outside of it.
Right.
And we didn't really see too much of him for 2018 of like that, but as of late, I think we've been seeing more of that. I believe he's got some. I believe he beat Smuckers a few times this year, even if he's negative on him. And he was definitely beating Hacks during Hacks' period where he like could not beat Peaches. So we're seeing some good stuff out of him. It'll be interesting to see how he progresses, because I feel like just when I watch his play, like he seems like a really smart player. As opposed to some of the other up and coming Peaches, like I feel like I see more thought going into his play.
Yeah.
So, but I also do think that there's like some blind spots with like just certain matchups and stuff, and that's of course going to happen. But yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how he goes looking forward. Like him versus Axe was a really weird thing.
It was funny. I saw his like results tweet.
Yeah.
When everybody was on that wave, and he was
the classic.
No, he like didn't list any, and he was like, I dropped a set that I had against top 50 players.
Yeah.
Lots of game 5s or something like that.
Yeah, I think he understands that.
Yeah.
It was a little bit of regression for him, but I expect to see him in that range next year. You know, he's definitely a person who can like be top 100, be on the ballot. It's tough to say this early on, but I expect that of him. Him versus Axe was really interesting because I feel like there was just a ton of small things. But obviously, that's Melee, right? Bunch of small things.
I remember game 1 being super close. Like he had a lead in game 1, and Axe just like top playered him.
Once he lost game 1, it kind of felt like that was his chance to win. Kind of felt like it was over. You know, you just see a top 10 player and you get that close to winning, and it's just tough to really like blame him for kind of not really being able to keep up. But yeah, I think that's really something to look forward to this year. And something this year
I did also.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I got confirmation. I just messaged Floats. He said that Homemade Waffles played Marth game 1 and then switched to Doc game 2.
Okay. Gotcha. So, hey, he's a friend of the show. You know, he's been on the show before, so I'm not trying to. I want to get this information out there,
right?
To any nerd who might be mean towards him.
Yeah, he was definitely. He came up to me when he like checked into the tournament, and he was just like, "Yeah, I don't know if I want to play in this tournament. I kind of just want to commentate." But yeah. So that lines up.
Yeah, that's all good. So
Floats though, I don't want to discredit Floats either. While we're bootlicking here,
yeah.
He won the Arcadian here in Arizona, so that's pretty hype. You know, he might be PR next period. We'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see.
And then of course he'll stop playing. That's it seems the Arizona
PR. Absolutely. No, he's actually like a super grinder. If anyone doesn't quit, I think it's
awesome.
But
yeah.
Just wanted to shoehorn that in there. Shout out Floats.
Yeah, definitely. It's always tough for people who like beat a top player's secondary. Because I remember I was
Right.
consulting Aiden about seeding for Don't Park on the Grass, like top 32. And I was like,
Yeah.
Stango's really good. Like he had one bad tournament where he lost to Juice Box. But I was like, other than
Mm.
that, he's like incredibly good versus his tier players and like super solid against the tier players above him.
Yeah.
So I was like, definitely have him somewhere in the whatever. It doesn't really matter anymore. And
Right.
like suddenly I had to justify him, of course, like because he hasn't gone to a lot. So
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
then I'm like, okay, well, they're like, oh, he beat Swedish, and I was like, that was his Falco. Then it's like, oh, like, well,
Shit.
it's not as if it doesn't like it's not a chic win, but yeah, you got to give them some
It's not
credit.
bad,
Yeah,
you
it's not
know?
bad, and it's also like it's tough to take a win away from someone, like because of what the other person did, right?
Right,
It's like
yeah.
we don't know what would
That's
happen in a
it's a little
situation.
bit whack.
Yeah, so like just that came to mind of a situation where that happened. But yeah, it's always tough when you have someone who beats someone's like secondary, because I feel like people are
Right.
always ready to like you know bring that down or just like completely say that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like I played against Ty's Falco this week, and I decided to just play Ice Climbers because I didn't want to beat Ty that way.
Wow.
Didn't want people looking at brackets and seeing that shit. So I almost beat him with my Ice Climbers actually, the Falco,
Oh wow.
but it wasn't to be.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Yeah,
Falco.
always a weird situation. Me and Jake were actually talking about like, East Coast Jeff beat Mango's Mario at the Mango.
Yeah.
They were like Jeff was talking to Jake and he was like, "What do I do?" And Jake was like, "You win. You have an opponent in front of you. You go out there and you win. It doesn't matter if the tournament's named after him or if he's playing a secondary. You just beat your opponent." And he did it.
He did it.
And now he has a Mango win.
Yeah. He someone posted his SSB wiki, just like one line from it and said, "Guess who this is?" And it was beautiful. He has taken sets off Mango, Chillin, Shroomed, NMW, Frederick Lamar, and many others. Just that line right there, that one sentence.
That's wild.
It's like one of the best puzzles I feel like I've seen recently. Because you're like Mango, okay, well not too many people beat Mango. That's pretty easy. And then you're like, wait, it's impressive that they beat Mango and Fendi.
Right, yeah. Why what level are we?
Yeah, it's just it becomes like that's what film noirs are made out of. You like,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah.
It sounds like a Jeopardy question, you know?
Oh, it's so nuts. It's crazy. I could definitely hear
Right.
Alex Trebek listing that out.
Yes. That's funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. I'm just gonna wrap up with one more thing that I find interesting. Then we're gonna move on to something else, which
Yeah.
is West Balls. West Balls got seventh at this tournament. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Uh I don't even know what to think about West Balls anymore,
Yeah.
dude.
Right.
Like you could feel it like you could feel it coming. Like Free Palestine is the man's that's on the rise. West Balls, he's had Sheik problems before, right? With the counterpicking war with S2J?
Yeah. I
Or is
mean,
that him playing Sheik?
uh,
No, no, no. It was S2J playing Sheik. And at West Balls would play Donkey Kong against S2J Sheik.
yeah, yeah. I don't remember that like being an extended thing, but I think that was also I think the period where S2J counterpicked Sheik for Axe. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah,
That happened
yeah.
like
He
one
did
game or
that at
something.
Run Back 2016.
Yeah, that was just like a wild time where they were counterpicking people like that little tier of players.
Right, right, right.
But yeah, I mean he's got losses to like if you see a Sheik who's about top 100, I feel like it's a good bet to say that they beat West Balls. And I don't want to
Yeah.
like I'm not trying to slander the guy and say it's a good bet that they will beat West Balls if they were to play. because I think Wes is very good, and I think the Sheik matchup, although it's something that he has trouble with, I think he also has good wins in it. Um, but
Right.
like I feel like there's a good
It,
chance that
he,
anyone at that level has had a win on him. Vortex, Sparks beaten him before, of course. Spark beat him here. Uh, just a lot of like up and coming Sheiks getting their rocks off
right.
by
And like it's
beating
it's
him.
it's got to be one of those things where he plays down to his opponent's level, to
Yeah,
some extent. We've seen this from him like for like a lot of years, I think. The Pools loss,
yeah,
it's just become more, I don't know, more prevalent.
yeah. I think the difference
The other
is,
matchup,
yeah. Go on.
I was going to say the other matchup that he's liable to lose in, I think, is Luigi. We
Yeah,
go back to
oddly
Flatiron
enough,
3.
right?
Yeah, he lost to Commaster at Flatiron, lost to Bagels at Run Back.
Lost to
He
Curve
lost
last
to
night.
Curve he lost to Curve last
He
night. He
lost to
lost to him at the
Curve last
Mango
night.
also.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's weird, dude.
it is odd.
West Balls, I think, is the most. He's like the biggest anomaly in Melee right now.
Yeah. See, what I was gonna say is I think the difference between like West balls right now and West balls in the past, obviously gameplay perspectives, a ton of different things that I can't get into in depth enough to really matter. But
Yeah,
we would see him have the same losses that he has now, but he'd also just like get fourth at the tournament or something. Like he
yeah,
would,
he'd come back.
yeah, and like we don't necessarily see that as much right now. He lost to Shiz at the Big House 8, and then he came back. He beat Pew Pew and losers. He had a pretty solid losers run to
He
get like
beat
I
he
think.
beat Wizrow that tournament also, right?
Yeah, he beat Wizrobe. He beat Pew Pew. He had like a really solid losers run to get
Yeah,
17th maybe or so, maybe 13th.
right.
But I really think in the past we would see him. He would lose to like MT or something, and then he'd come back. He beat everyone in bracket who wasn't a god, and then still
Right.
had like a 50-50 shot to beat a god.
Yeah, and
So
like maybe you're right. Maybe like his ceiling is just his floor is where it's always been, but his ceiling
yeah.
worse.
It's really tough to say, and I don't think I want to speak on this because the second I say like, oh yeah, he's like never gonna reach the same highs that he has before, he's gonna get like top 8 at Genesis or something.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like he's definitely a really solid player, and this isn't incredibly surprising to lose to two Sheiks. I feel like a
No,
lot of
yeah,
people
yeah.
even had him like they count him out against Ty.
Yeah, he that was a really close set.
Yeah. Oddly enough, I still have a lot of faith in him versus Marth, even though I think he was doing some really dumb stuff versus Ty.
Right,
But like
yeah.
overall, I think he just has a pretty good handle on the matchup where I don't get incredibly scared if he's versus a Marth in bracket, as much as I would maybe like a Sheik or something.
Yeah, which is kind of weird to say about Falco, right?
Yeah, right. You wouldn't expect that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean like he looked dominant against Ty in like the last, you know, towards the end of the last game of that set. He like, you know, kind of turned on Super West Balls mode and fucking it was a pretty, you know, pretty decisive stock lead I think that Ty had. He was up 2-1.
Yeah.
West Balls just like got the West Balls punishes and won the game.
Yeah. Still always scary though. Like
Yeah.
never a dull moment when you're West Balls versus any character, I guess.
Right?
I was about to name like one or two, and then just 26 characters came to mind.
Just a rush.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think it was a really interesting bracket overall. Army takes first place, which is a really good way to start his year.
Oh yeah.
After we see like some weird stuff coming from him where he's supposed to be top 15 or whatever, he's supposed to be this like next great player, and then we see him not really drop off but just not able to keep up to that level. So starting the year off like this is really great for him, and I think having
Yeah.
Axe
It
like lose his first real big tournament of the year is really interesting as a storyline for him, because a lot of people every year are like, oh, is he Is he top 10 anymore? Is he better? Is SFAT better? Is S2J better? You're getting all these weird things with him. And I think like
Right.
kind of putting him in this corner really works well for him. Like I like to see him claw his way out. It's always really interesting.
Yeah. And it's a little bit disconcerting because if he had just lost to Army this tournament, you might have thought, well, you know, that's a tough matchup for him. He's bound to lose to some ice climbers sometimes. But I think the face roll loss is a little bit worrying if you're an
Yeah.
Axe fan.
Yeah.
Especially given like the enormous home field advantage that he's historically had in Arizona. And that's been it's been a little bit less recently. Notably, he lost Rewired 2016 against West Balls.
Yeah.
He lost he lost Esports Arizona, and now he's lost Smash Camp. So that home field advantage is kind of dwindling a little bit. But you'd still really like to see him beat Face Roll,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was rooting. I mean, I'm a big face roll fan, but I was rooting for him in losers finals. I was like, this is all I can ask for.
Yeah.
I want a face roll to have an Axe win, but I still want to see Axe how he does versus Army. Yeah, it's
It
going to
was
be an interesting one. I think that's probably a good spot to cap discussion for Smash Camp off. What do you think?
Yeah, sure.
Of it's Army at first, looking to make this the year that everyone thought he was going to have last year. That see if he can
Yeah.
continue this upward trajectory, and Axe at second, seeing if he can really solidify a spot as a top 10 player.
Yep.
So yeah, overall just a really interesting tournament.
It
And
was a fun time.
oh, I bet that's the long list of tournaments that I want to go to. I feel like every year I'm like,
It grows, right?
yeah, man. It's like every year it just gets bigger and bigger, and I'm like,
Yep.
well, do I really want to go to? I remember I was like, if there's another air, will I go to it? I think I said to myself like, if I go to air, I'll probably be able to go to like that and maybe one other major.
Yeah.
But
That it takes a mogul move to pull an Aiden and cross the Atlantic for a
oh
melee
yeah, I don't even
tournament.
want to talk about that guy. I swear every time I talk to him, he somehow shoehorns in like, oh, I was in Iceland when I watched
Right?
this on stream.
I messaged him a calendar question. He was like, "Yeah, sorry." Way. I was like, "Okay, flex, go off."
You said Norway, right? So you cut off a little bit.
Yeah, it was Norway.
Yeah,
Yep,
what
for
a
a
nut.
glimpse.
This guy.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
legend.
for sure. Yeah, he's always messaging me about like, uh, what if I did this? What if I like? At one point, he wanted to throw an entire tournament so he could see what Rocky IBW would look like.
just just curate the matchups. I
It's
love
just
that.
like it's like billionaire playboys like if they ran melee basically.
We should do that. We should take a that Aiden's a genius, dude. Someone should take a look at the Tafo stats, see pull together an amalgamation of players who have all not played each other
Yeah.
and pull them together in like the geographical center of the United States and just have them duke it out. That'd be amazing.
I feel like
It's
Aiden's always thinking about that though.
That's sick. We'll just call it like data gathering the tournament.
I think it was really interesting to see Don't Park on the Grass this year, where the one player, the international player who like we barely saw any of, I think
Oh yeah.
who didn't benefit from that was Frenzy, the UK Falco.
Mm-hmm.
He got ninth at SmashCon, and I feel like everyone's just kind of resigned to the fact that like, well, if you get ninth at SmashCon, I guess you're top 100, right? Then
It's just how it be.
yeah, I feel like if you get ninth, you should get top 100. Like I'm just not gonna ask any questions. And then
Right.
he comes here, he's like 0-3 versus Daki, like
Oof.
in this one like week. And like I mean Daki's really good, and I think Frenzy's good as well. It's just like luck of the draw at a certain point when it comes
That
to those players.
Yeah, that reminds me of Zoma, I think, the
Yeah,
Japanese Mewtwo who came to
Mewtwo.
Xanadu, like dropped a couple fifths and like sevenths
Yeah.
just in like normal local brackets.
And I remember getting very hyped when he beat Siren.
That's right. Yeah.
That's like a real sign of the times. Is like, yes, he beat Cyrane.
Right.
Kids don't know about
Yeah.
getting excited when Cyrane loses.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
really popping off
Zoma.
over
I think.
this Siren loss
Yeah,
here.
I don't want to. I don't want to make fun of Zoma. I don't want to make it seem like Cyrane win is a bad thing because you know what Zoma did like a year later? He
What's that?
beat Cactuar.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Cactuar went to a
That's
Battle
hype. I
Gateway in
forgot about
Japan.
that.
I forget if he
Oh, wow, that's wild.
I forget I think there was like sets that were split. I forget if someone went 2-1, who went 2-1 and who went 1-2 in sets.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely he had this really awesome set where he goes Fox sometimes, but it was one of
Yeah.
those things where like every game he won, I think in this one set was Mewtwo, so it was pretty crazy to
Mm,
watch.
nice. Maybe I'm not giving him enough credit. Zoma, come back, dude.
I think you're just in Taj land right now, so
Right, yeah.
uh,
If he ever pulls it out again,
yeah. I mean, he was
I'd
was
love
it
to
Big
see
House
that.
6? What was 7? He had a
He
somewhat
also beat
frequent.
Cactuar.
Yeah, wait, what did he beat? He played Cobalt as
No, it
well,
was
right? It was
Cobalt. That's
Cobalt,
right,
yeah.
Cobalt. That's who it was. Yeah, and then almost beat Chillin' Dude.
Yeah. What a Melee's weird.
Yeah,
Melee's just wacky.
absolutely. It's weird that he like his signature matchup, right? The thing that people know him, the biggest win of all time was Marth Falco, right?
Yeah.
He pulls out Mewtwo as a Fox counter pick, you know, and like a Peach counter pick. What the fuck?
That is nuts. Yeah, we were having some fun like little fun facts about SSBM rank top 100, like the history of top 100s.
Yeah,
And I think he is the best player to only be on one. And obviously like with someone of that skill
well,
level, it's just like well, they were only on one because they only cared enough for a year to like attend enough tournaments. But it's I
right,
think that's a
yeah,
really fun fact about him is that he's the best player to only be on one.
yeah. That you're probably right there. I mean, like, I can't think of too many people who have fallen off
Yeah,
because he was on it in 2013, right?
yeah, he was like top 25.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can't think of too many people who have fallen.
it's
I don't
like
know.
him and
Continue to be like hidden
yeah,
bosses in some way. I
it's
don't
like
know.
just people who are very good and just stop playing. Like Zero was on once.
Yeah,
Zero, it's tough to say with him considering.
that yeah, that's close actually. Now that I think about it,
Yeah,
because Zero was like top 30 when he was on, right?
he was like 34th, 35th or so, I
Oh,
think, on
okay.
there.
Yeah,
But I mean, it was one of those things where it's like hacks when he came back with the box, where it's
yeah,
like it's so hard to rank them because they got so like enormously better as the year went on.
yeah.
So yeah, Zero is
That's
probably like
wild,
really
dude.
trending upwards at that point. At the point in the ranking.
Right. Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah. I mean, Taj has had some like disappointing results since then. I know he lost to
don't say
like
that.
Kevbot at Genesis.
Don't say that.
Um, no, I don't want to ruin the illusion, but like, I'm sure that if he put time into the game, like he would be top 100 for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's
Um,
melee. I never question people when they don't want to play melee.
oh yeah,
So obviously, like there's so many people who are so good, and it really just comes down to like whether or not is important enough to them to put in the time.
yeah.
So and Taj is
Like
definitely
we're
one of
the
those
weird
people.
ones, right? We're the
Yeah,
weird ones for still, being on melee themed podcasts and
yeah, yeah, dude.
going to locals and shit.
Yeah. Have you ever? I don't know if you explain to your coworkers like when you go away for a tournament. I don't know if you.
I have an esports job now, so
Oh hell
I
yeah!
I can do that and they know what I'm talking. Previously,
Awesome.
when I was just working my paper push job, I would tell them and they wouldn't really understand.
Okay. I just usually say I'm going to meet a friend in Boston or something like that. Like just in a way. Yeah, like I'm not lying. I have friends and they will be in Boston. Genesis,
Yep. I
my
remember I
friend.
was listening to.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was gonna say my friend just moved within the past like 6 months to NorCal for a
Yeah.
job. So it's like, oh, perfect. That's an excuse I could use. I'm visiting my friend. He just moved.
There you go. Yeah, I remember I was listening to the Bad Melee side podcast. Yeah, that's whack.
Yeah.
A while ago, and Gunther's he's an Uber driver, and he keeps his like bigger bulk lanyard on his car mirror, and he was like talking about this like painful interaction where somebody asked him what it was for, and he was like, a convention, and they were like, what kind of convention? He's like, it's a video game convention. And they're like asking more details, and he had to explain that it was for like a modded version of Smash Bros.
Jeez. See, I think the issue is that, it's like that's a half measure, right? Like you got to go
Yeah.
full at that point. You either don't put it on there, or you just like, oh yeah, I'm actually like
Right.
really into Smash. I know it sounds weird, but like I just met so many friends through it. Yeah, you got to go into it. Like it reminds me.
Yeah.
I had a friend. We were at dinner at Carrabba's of all places. This guy wanted to go to Carrabba's, and I was like, sure, why not? And he
Nice,
sees someone.
nice.
He's like, I think our waiter was in the same high school as us. I'm like, okay, sick. Like there was 600 people in our grade, 3 grades. I'm like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people went to our high school. And he's like, no, I think he's like a grade above us. So the guy comes over to like place our food down, and my friend's like,
Mhm.
did you go to our high school? He's like, yeah, class of 2012. And then my friend
There
just
you
said,
go.
okay, and that was it. We're not class of 2012. I'm class of 2013. So like, I was like, okay, dude, here's the issue. You just don't bring it up, which is what
Yeah.
everybody would do if they see someone who they like recognize but never talk to. You just don't bring it up.
Right.
Or you bring it up and you're like, oh, I'm 2013. I thought I recognized you from somewhere. Maybe we were on the same team or something. Like,
Yeah.
but you just
You
can't
can't
like,
toe the line.
you can't
Yeah.
take the information in
Can't
and then
do
just
it.
say, okay, thank you.
All right. Yeah. Nice.
So yeah,
Have a good day.
I'm all for man, I got like scared when you said he put his even bigger bulk thing on his the lanyard. It's like
Yeah.
being so upfront about that.
You gotta open up. You know.
Yeah, maybe I have commitment issues, and this is where I find out. So I got a little bit of a new segment that we're gonna try out.
Oh,
So-
sick.
So this is gonna be the first time the segment's ever been premiered. So we're gonna work through it. We're gonna
Oh,
see how
man.
it works.
I'm the guinea pig. We do a deep dive on our guest Instagram page. I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna ask you to eat some hot wings. Obviously,
Yeah.
you're in a different spot than I am, so I hope you have some.
Honor system. Yeah, I got him on deck. Don't worry.
Okay,
about
all right, sick.
it.
So it's called Word on the Wheat. Now
Okay.
I've heard some information about Smash Camp, and I just want to see if any of it's true. So I'm gonna ask you some questions, and you're gonna tell me whether or not they're true or not, and go into it.
Shit. Okay. Yeah, let's do it.
Do you want to create a theme song for it?
You want me to create a theme song?
I mean, you can say no.
Word on the Wii.
Perfect.
There it is.
All right, there we go. All right, so Word on the Wheat. Word on the street, of course.
Yes.
Word on the street is that you were using UCF at Smash Camp, right?
Yes.
true?
Yeah, Smash Camp was UCF.
Awesome. I guess like right now it's hard to really gauge what like the future of Melee is going to be, if it's UCF, if it's Arduinos, if it's
Right.
not vanilla, anything but vanilla. It's really hard to
Yes.
tell. But I know you're a big UCF guy, I think, as far as I know. So it's good to hear.
I personally don't really care about it. I think that if people want to have UCF, then there's no reason why I shouldn't capitulate to the people.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell that Nintendo's ever going to find out about Smash Camp, so I might as well just let it rip.
Yeah, right. Speaking
Yeah.
of Nintendo and mods.
Yes. Okay.
Another thing I've also heard about Smash Camp is that the Project M players actually are in a separate camp across the lake. And at night, when the counselors go to sleep, the Project M players come over on a boat and they play with the Melee players. Do you know anything about this?
Not entirely far from the truth.
Okay.
It is in a different room. The rooms they're probably about like 100 feet away from each other.
Okay.
But
Wow.
the kicker is that the Project M room is called the Old Wagon Shed.
Oh
So
boy.
we kick the Project M players to the Old Wagon Shed.
Yep.
It's a nice little building.
Yeah.
It's
See,
just separate,
seems like
right?
something you hear from Old Yeller.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a very rustic feel to it.
Yeah.
But like, I don't want to make it seem like I want to segregate Project M players. The problem is that our venue for Melee is just not big enough to sustain both games at the same time.
No, I
So
understand.
I have to put them somewhere else.
That's completely fine. As you know
Right.
what, you run PM, which is something that a lot of people can't say. So
Like, they just have a really good time there, and
yeah,
they don't really get many big tournaments. I mean, like, Arizona PM is one of like the
one of the bigger PM
most
scenes. Yeah, right.
yeah, it's one of the most active PM scenes, but like
Yeah.
they don't really get like big tournaments here. Why not? I have a whole other room. So I'm not gonna split Melee between two rooms, so we might as well put something else in there, and
Yeah.
PM seems like a good option.
All right. And
Yep.
got another word on the wheat about
I'm scared now.
mods.
These are getting progressively okay. Go for it.
So UCF is not the only in-game mod, as far as I heard. Word on the wheat is that Alan Sherman's 1963 novelty hit "Hello Mudda, Hello Fada," a letter from camp, replaced all of the in-game music for the legal stages. Do you know anything about this?
It was actually Mia Khalifa by I Love Friday. I'm not sure where you got that from.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
I thought it was a camp theme, but I,
It was close. Yeah, it was close.
yeah, I'm gonna have to check with my sources on this.
Yes. Yeah. Go back to the leak and see what's
Yeah,
up with that.
yeah. Another word on the wheat that we got here. Everyone in top 8 made a pact to meet in the same spot in exactly 10 years.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's been the runes have been drawn in blood.
Were there pinky promises?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, all that shit. Lawyers, everything.
Yeah, the lawyers, pinky promises, the normal.
Yes, exactly.
And the last thing that I have, the last word that's been on the wheat, it's been on me, is
Yes.
in the Parent Trap, 2 Lindsay Lohans find out that they have long lost twins. They find this out at camp. Now,
Yeah.
did anything like this happen at Smash Camp?
I'm gonna be honest, I didn't hear the first word of that question or so I didn't get it all. I know this is great for your audio medium podcast. Could you please repeat it?
In the Parent Trap, 2 Lindsay
Yes.
Lohans, they
Yeah.
find each other through camp. They find out that they have long lost twins. Anything
Yeah.
similar at Smash Camp? Any Lindsay Lohans out there finding their other twins?
Not exactly, but the video for Lil Dicky and Chris Brown's Freaky Friday was at the camp, so
Hey, there you go. What more can you ask
little bit
for?
of a parallel. Yeah.
I mean, Parent Trap and Freaky Friday, 2 completely different things, but we'll take what we can
Same
get.
actresses. It's you know.
Yeah. Hey, you know what?
Lindsay Lohan is the common thread, right?
Let's bring this all back together. Lil Dicky, right? He is the one you said.
Yes.
Lil Dicky grew up 15 minutes away from
That's right, yeah.
From
Pennsylvania boys.
Yeah. He is from Cheltenham, Pennsylvania, and we are the ones that play them in football every year.
Oh, nice.
It's one of those
That's
fun
funny.
rivalries where, like, trying to think of an analog. I guess like Patriots Jets.
Yeah.
Where we just kind of stomp them every year, but then we're like, haha, you guys, you suck, and they're like, oh, we're gonna get you.
That's great.
Yeah, right.
Good to hear.
Those are the type of rivalries that you want, right?
Yes, yeah.
You want to lose like 1/10 of your games.
That makes that's like ASU versus U of A in basketball. That makes the wins really hype.
Yeah, like you don't always want to win because you want the win to feel good when it happens, but you want to win most of the time.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So that was it for word on the wheat.
That's all the words, huh?
That's all the words I got. And I learned a lot about what happened at Smash Camp over there.
Yeah, glad I could provide some insight. It was really like a wide range of topics there.
Yeah, I'm just glad that the leaker, my source on this, wasn't too far off.
Right. Yeah. He just got a little bit confused. I really feel as if this like I got Nardward. Slime has gamer Nardwar in his Twitter bio, and he might have to abdicate that title.
Yeah, you know what? Melee Stats has talked about this in the past about how we can make a better Nardwar video. I mean, I did.
Please do.
I did search to see if there were any murders that happened on the campgrounds.
This, you know what? This honestly, this feels like a Nardwar right now. Given the insight and the research that you've put into it. So
yeah,
I gotta give you props on that.
I've also got a present for you. I've got a signed record.
What's the record?
It is.
Do improv. We dance.
Oh my god, I can't improv.
Do improv.
It's Run on Empty by Jackson Brown.
Oh, great.
But it's not signed by Jackson Brown, actually.
I do have in front of me actually a gift that was given to me at Evo, from Smoz. I'm not sure if you know who Smoz is.
Yes.
He's a lad from the UK. It's a signed Hungrybox green headband.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I have this in my office.
That
yeah,
there's a lot going on there.
It's like the only Melee related gift I've ever received. So
yeah.
I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with it, how I'm going to destroy it, the particulars of that. But yeah, I'll put the Jackson Brown record and the box headband in a prominent place.
Put them together. Oddly enough, the Jackson Brown record is actually signed by HBox as well.
Oh wow, really? Okay,
yeah.
Great.
But who knows? He could just have Crunch in a back room,
Yeah. Do you think if I gave HBox a Milo Yiannopoulos picture, he signed that also? If I just present it to him for signature? Shit.
Huh. I don't know.
I think he would, dude.
Man,
I think he's thirsty for autographs. I also had him sign. I went around to Genesis 3 and I have the SSBM license plate for Arizona. So I went around and I had like 35 top players sign it and shit. And Hungrybox's signature is by far the biggest. He fucking John Hancocked it, dude. He took up like literally 1/10 of the space on the license plate.
Oh, who's gonna stop him, huh?
Yeah, he's number one, baby. He loves the signature, so I'm sure he like you put anything in front of his face and he's just gonna scribble away on it.
Yeah, I wonder what we could get him to sign. That might be like a Genesis, like a goal, like I guess the opposite of a scavenger hunt because you're bringing stuff,
right?
Like,
yeah,
who can at the end of the tournament, who can have the most obscure thing that he would sign?
Yeah, I love it. It's like I feel like that's the next step for your word on the wheat is to turn it into the explain that Graham segment and go up to him and show him the Milo Yiannopoulos picture and ask him to explain it in more detail.
There may or may not have been an idea to walk up to players who are not well known and talk to them about their results, because there's such a like I feel like I've taken in way too much Melee, and
that's sick.
It has to go somewhere. So the idea of walking up to someone and saying like, by the way, that was really impressive when you beat Calvar at the.
I really want you. I don't want you to waste material on me, but I do want you to give me a specific example right now.
The one specific example that I want to leak is, and I don't think he's going to be at Genesis. So if this is going to happen, I might have to wait till like Pound or something. Do you know Wasabi from?
No.
He is from
I don't.
New York. He's tri-state. He's not like incredibly notable at all, not PR'd or something, but
Right.
I I wanted to go up to him like if this was a thing, I want to go up to him so bad with a printout of a screenshot of an image of a set he had with Sun, who is another New York player, an Ices player, where he is being wobbled on his last stock at 0%. At Sun is at 0% with 4 stocks. And I just wanted to say,
no.
can you explain this picture to me?
Oh no.
But
That's unfortunate.
I don't know if I can murder a man like that.
Do you have any the cheat results that you know of?
You know,
Do
I think
you have that knowledge on deck?
right now you're safe, but I'll have to go in the portfolio. I gotta see what we
Come
got on
on,
you.
man. What's my Armada number?
Well, I know that you lost to Armada at Evo.
I did. There you go. That's yeah. That's one. But
Yeah,
I have an Armada number that's not astronomically high.
I'll you know what? I'll have you on before next Smash Camp, and I'll figure that out.
Okay, yeah. I want you. Yeah,
I'll get
1 year from now, find my Armada number. I want your best guess right now, assuming that let's set now exactly how we count the Armada number. So is beating Armada having an Armada number of 1?
That's tough. Yeah,
Or
I
is
guess
it
that's
0?
that's the big question. You know what? What did they say? I guess it's 0, right?
Okay. So assuming that beating Armada gives you an Armada number of 0, what do you think my Armada number is?
I'm gonna give you. Ooh, I'm between 2 numbers right now, and one I feel like is smarter, but also not. You know, I'll say the nicer one. 4.
4?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want should we just reveal it now? Do we want to wait the year for the payoff? Are we doing this?
I mean, I was gonna buy a big cork board and have the string and the thumbtacks, but you know what?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
It's 2.
It's 2.
It's 2. The Armada number's 2.
Did you beat Axe at some point?
No, I beat Scape, who beat Silent Spectre, who beat Armada.
Oh. Wow.
Very hype. I think I also have another. I think Forte Freak's beaten Silent Spectre also. So I also have Forte Freak, Silent Spectre, Armada.
Man, must feel good to have two ways.
It's much easier if you're West Coast, right?
Yeah, true.
Or if you're Europe, I guess.
Or yeah, if you've beaten AMSA. Or
yes.
You know what? I feel like Armada numbers were kind of retired in August, right?
A little bit, right? Yeah, because Swedish opens it up a whole lot.
Swedish is a really good player who also happens to lose to like a ton of different people underneath his like in the top 100, like every non-top 100 Fox or every top 100 Fox who's like not top 50, I feel like has a set on him.
Right. Yeah, it's mitigated now for sure, but the whole point of the Armada now, it's ridiculous, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, you bend over backwards to find your Armada number.
Yeah, exactly. It's nuts.
Do you know what yours is?
No, I don't even want to figure that out. Like that, I'm not incredibly good at this game, and I feel like figuring that out will make that even more more relevant to me.
It's worth it. Listen, there's not a huge skill gap between people who have Armada numbers of 2, a la me, and people who have Armada numbers of like 6. You know.
You know what?
It's all like region dependent.
Let me pretty much. Yeah, I feel like I can fly to NorCal, and I think that'll help me.
Just get a win over a NorCal player.
Yeah, and then my path is opened up.
Yes, exactly. That's how you do it.
Like if I'm able to somehow like cheese Young Trap Lord in a best of 3, I feel like Young Trap Lord probably has beaten Silent Spectre.
Probably, or he's beaten
Armada.
Like Ralph or someone.
What if that would just
maybe if it was just on the low.
We just never knew that he beat Armada.
Yeah. What if somebody told you that, dude? And
Yeah,
they were like dead face serious. They're like,
yeah,
yeah, I
no,
beat Armada. Nobody knows about it.
yeah. It was round robin pools. He still got out first in his pool, so like the top 64 didn't get affected. But yeah, I just
It
beat
was
him.
paper pools,
Paper
right?
pools, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No, I just beat
That'd
him.
be nuts.
Yeah, he won the tournament, of
Because that
course. Yeah,
would that would mean that you'd have to lose to someone, right? You you beat Armada and then lose to random chic number 527.
you go like 1-5 in your pool, but your one's Armada.
Oh man.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah, it would have to be like throwing on purpose so that nobody knows the lore.
Yeah,
And then Armada gives you $500 to never speak of this again.
yeah. Android rolls up onto you after the set.
Baseball bat in hand, looking real menacing.
God, can you imagine that?
Yeah,
Have
it
you?
was actually me, dude. I beat our.
I mean,
That was the setup for
I
this.
have no choice but to believe this.
Right. You didn't watch.
I didn't see it. I have no proof that you didn't.
Yeah.
I cannot prove that you did not beat him.
There you go.
Yeah,
It's Schrodinger's Armada win, dude. Every unrecorded Armada set.
true.
Who knows what happened?
Jeez. All right. Well, I feel like I've been keeping you for a little bit. We're nearing that like hour and a half mark.
Yeah, what the hell, dude?
I've been just having a good time.
I got shit to do.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
kidding. It's fine.
So I think before we start getting into like talking about which character you would want to be roommates with most or something like that. Like
Yeah,
before
yeah,
we
yeah.
get to these really dumb lines of questioning, I think we should probably cut it off. I
Cool.
think we yeah, I think this is good. I think we did a good thing.
Yeah, I
That
appreciate it.
give me that cheat,
Give
that
me that
Evo
give me that
conversation.
cheat.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we weren't far off.
give me that cheat's a real nice combo.
Yeah, a nice little one-on-one.
Yeah, fuck Edwin and fuck Save,
Yeah.
and you guys flaked on me, and I'll see you all soon, and I'll kiss you when I see you.
And that's just the type of guy you are.
Yes,
All right.
that's I live by that. You know.
Yeah. All right. So I'm gonna need some plugs from you. So Smash Camp
Oh God.
2020. We don't have any dates for that, right? But that's gonna be a thing.
We'll see when it is.
All
Might be
right.
2020. Might be sooner. I don't
Ooh.
know. I don't want it to be in the snow again, and that's all I'm gonna
Yeah.
say about the date for now because it's
Gotcha.
not picked. Um,
So you
but
are. Yeah. So I was gonna say you are thecheat.com
that's
on
yeah,
Twitter.
and also Peppa's Esports,
Peppa's
and
Esports, of
I'm gonna
course.
stream after this, and this will be in the future, so you can't watch it, but you should go sub anyway. I might be streaming when you listen to it. Who knows?
Yeah. The time is funny like that.
Yes.
And now, can I get I need one more oh my god, I just forgot plug. One more
One
plug
more
from you. I
plug.
don't want it to be any socials. I don't want it to be. It doesn't have to be melee related. Can be anything. So I just
Can I
want to.
plug my job? Bravest
Yeah,
Esports. We
go ahead.
run a youth esports league. Yeah, we're gonna be running youth esports leagues in New York and Arizona and California. So go to bravest.com and check that out.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool time.
Yeah. Well, Mikey, I had a great time.
We, I appreciate it, my man's.
Definitely. All right. Well, I will. I'll see you personally at Genesis, right?
I'm not going to Genesis. Are you gonna be at
No.
Full Bloom? I'm
Uh,
gonna be at Full Bloom.
I I had my flight picked out for Genesis like 3 months ago, and then I just bought it yesterday. So it went up
Oh, nice.
$100, and that made me
Oh
reconsider
no.
Full Bloom a lot. I got a
Oh
lot of killers going to
no.
Full Bloom, a lot of good friends. So I will have to
Yeah,
consider it. If not, I will eventually see you.
I'll be around. You know what it is.
All right. Well, uh, I will catch you around. I'll catch you on the Save Melee Committee podcast. Right. I'll see you on there.
Yeah. Fuck, I forgot to. Whatever. You know what it is.
You know it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I had a great time. I'll see you later.
Yeah. Me
Thanks.
too.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks, dude.
All right.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Definitely.
Hell yeah.
All right.